All right, welcome back everybody to Smooth Operator, the series where we try and take Carlos Sainz and beat Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari. The last time around we were in Austria, Max Verstappen taking another win, Yuki Tsunoda most importantly taking a second place, Russell third, fourth and fifth Leclerc and Hamilton, Sainz ending up in seventh and Alex Albon ending up in 10th place. Today we're heading to Silverstone. It looks like it's going to be a dry race. And there is a historic safety car chance of 75%, so something we have to keep in mind. If we take a look at the calendar now, we can see one more upgrade coming on next, tomorrow actually. We have Chassis 6, which should be a decent upgrade. I hope it really gives us a nice big boost towards, the top of the pile or, close to it. But we'll see what impact it has. Our budget right now, about 2.4 million. We're gonna have to see if we can maybe emergency manufacture a chassis for this round, and else we'll just have to rush one of those for the next round, I guess. So coming up to another sponsor plan, much important. We have another energy drink advert. That's only gonna pay us out 950k, so not as great as that previous one where we had, I think it was Wind Tunnel Hire, where we got 950k. So let's put up all the rest of the engagements, and then I'll come back to you when that is done. So the sponsor plan is ready. We're gonna send some of our affiliate drivers, O'Sullivan and Browning, on some sponsor activities. Then we'll have some race engineer reviews, some scout stamp tours, and some guided tours in the tour center. It shouldn't hopefully impact our running too much. I made sure to not select any of these sponsor engagements where you have to dedicate the factory or the wind tunnel to it. So yeah, this should be fine. We'll get the maximum payout of 3.5 million for the next period, so that should be good. All right, as you can see, chassis 6 ready now to be put on the car. We still need to manufacture it. We're gonna see now if we can maybe emergency manufacture one, but we'll have to be smart with our money here. And unless it gives us a massive boost, which I sincerely hope it does, we're not gonna fit it for this round just yet. But again, we'll go into manufacturing and see how the chassis lines up. All right, so we're gonna emergency manufacture one of the chassis. You can see here, it really gives us both of our cars a big boost. Even here, we're gonna have a massive boost in our performance. So yeah, we're gonna emergency manufacture one of those. We got that extra money for the sponsorships coming in. So 4.5 million. We're gonna have that to get this chassis in for Silverstone right away. Alright guys, so heading into Silverstone today. Obviously we saw the conditions already just beforehand, but taking a look at the car performance, we mounted that new chassis, and it has managed to put Carlos Sainz up to 7th in the performance ranking. So yeah, looking good. Let's hope Sainz can get on top of that chassis in the practice, and then we can see how we do. Let's get into qualifying. Alright guys, into qualifying one. Weather looks like it's going to be stable throughout, so no rain expected. We got to try and do something here for the home Grand Prix for Williams and try to get that special result with Sainz. Let's go out for our first laps and see how we stack up. So Sainz out for his first lap. And I come across the line. I think one of the Aston Martins is not too far ahead. Is it Stroll, Alonso, so he should have decent pace. So let's hope maybe we can get a little bit of slipstream, so we only have to put in one lap here. You can see here closing down to Alonso. So yeah, we're going to be massively faster than Alonso here. Even into the braking zone, you can see how much faster we are. Coming across the line, what will it be for Sainz with that extreme toe? 24.6 and at 1.5 seconds faster than Alonso. So yeah, All right, so all the times have come in. I could let the drivers go out. I could let Sainz and Albon go out on another lap, but I think looking at the times here, I think we're pretty safe. Albon 2/10 away from Verstappen. It seems like the rest of the field, all those midfield runners, are going to be quite far away. So I'm pretty confident in letting Albon just stay here with about 8/10 slower. And Sainz got a really good lap together with Alonso giving that toe down the back straight. So he's only 2/10 away from Norris, but realistically, 2 or 3 tenths there were from the toe from Alonso, I think. But still, pace is looking pretty good, I think. All right, so both of our drivers into qualifying too pretty comfortably. Wasn't too close, so yeah, looking good. Albon needs to make up a little bit of time to be comfortable into Q3, but we'll see how that goes. We're first going to put our drivers out on a used set of tires to get a banker lap in, and then towards the end of the session, when the grip is going to be high, then we put them out, both out on a fresh set of tires. Okay, that being said, there is actually some precipitation predicted here, about 5% chance, or 5% of rain. I'm not sure what that is supposed to be, but yeah, you can see it in the top right here. So we are actually going to send both of our drivers out on fresh tires, and it is going to have to be a lap that counts. And Sainz is going to have a less than desirable lap as well, I assume. So we'll see now. Let's bring him across the line. Let's call Albon in and put him out on a extra lap. The only saving grace we might have, another yellow flag, Antonelli locking up, but the only saving grace we might have is that the track might be getting wet over the next minute or so. So let's see. All right, putting Sainz out there for one last lap. He is on used tires though, because we want to save one set at least for Q3. But we'll see here. Albon is not going to make it through, so we're leaving him in the pits. And Sainz will now try and improve. He might get a nice little tow here by Lawson in the Racing Bulls, but Lawson might also get in the way, so we'll see how that goes. But maybe with this tow here, I think we're about the ideal distance here. We might just see a nice improvement. Down the main straight now, again, gonna pick up a really nice tow. As you can see, that's gonna be 2-3 tenths at least. That's gonna put us in well inside the top 5, I'd say. So Q2 now, gonna come across the line. What is it gonna be? Lawson might improve here, but gonna be a big improvement for Sainz. Yeah, there we go. Just inside the top 5 there. And with an off chance, we might be looking like we could beat Lewis Hamilton. Let's see, though. All right, heading into Q3. Again, same plan here. We're going to get Sainz out for a banker lap. And then after that, fresh set of tires towards the end of the session and just try and improve. All right, Sainz here, starting his last lap in qualifying. Nice clear track ahead of him. Let's see what he can do. Currently 5th, but you can see none of the top runners really got a representative lap in, so they all must have gotten blocked in some form or way. What will it be? 36.7. Okay, so we're improving in the middle sector. We need a really good last sector now to try and beat Hamilton for the first time. Leclerc not improving. That is a good sign. Hamilton comes across the line, only 9th. So no improvement for Hamilton, and Sainz comes across the line. Ooh, moves up into P6. Lawson surely is not going to improve. Now it's only down to Russell. Russell is on his in lap, and then Norris as well. So it's going to be P6 for Carlos Sainz. Very nice starting position in front of the 2 Ferraris critically. All right, guys, before we head into the race, looking at the starting grid, Oscar Piastri lines up on pole with Lando Norris behind him, Yuki Tsunoda in P3, George Russell 4th, 5th Max Verstappen, and 6th critically Carlos Sainz. So our time is a lot slower than the McLaren's, but we're in that fight, I think, in the top 5. So let's see what we can do in the race. Charles Leclerc 7th, Andrea Kimi Antonelli 8th, Lawson 9th, which is actually really decent result. Lewis Hamilton in 10th. Most importantly, we were looking to beat him today on merit. Fernando Alonso 11th, 12th, Oliver Bearman, Lance Stroll, Ocon. Alexander Albon in 15th. He had a bit of an unlucky run, I feel, in qualifying, so let's hope he can make up some positions. Nico Hulkenberg and Bortoleto 16th and 17th. Jack Doohan 18th, Pierre Gasly 19th, and Isaac Hadjar once again lining up in 20th. And before we head into the race, one more look here. Historic safety car chance, 75%, so very high chance that we'll get a safety car here today, but let's hope just for a clean run towards the end. And let's hope for once that Carlos doesn't pick up any damage, because we can really miss those costs right now.
Final checks are being carried out by the teams, and it won't be long until we get this race underway. The anticipation and excitement may be building up, but there's a cool head on Carlos Sainz.
They got everything right to earn that P6 position. Now they've just got to show they can do it again in the race.
Here we go. It's time to go racing. Anticipation is high.
All right, 5 red lights here at the Silverstone Grand Prix in Great Britain, and we're off. The lights are out. Carlos Sainz in P6, Albon in 15th. We've severely underfueled the cars to try and take a bit of advantage. Charles Leclerc instantly looking at overtaking Sainz if he can. Albon being pushed wide already. Sainz still trying to hang on to Leclerc. We see Lawson fighting Antonelli there, but Sainz running wide actually. So we'll now be under fire from Lawson behind. And we'll see now if we can just have Sainz pushing for this initial lap behind Charles Leclerc. Then we should be good to stay in this train ahead. But Charles Leclerc actually looking not that fast. He got an initial launch, which was great, but now he's already dropping back to the top 5. So ideally, we want to get ahead if we can. Down the straightaway we go now. Can we do anything with Sainz? No, we don't. Let's think about saving our tires already. We're going to keep deploying, but the tires is something we do want to watch. We don't want to excessively push them. And there is some medium runners as well in that top 7. DRS activated now, so let's see now. Lawson already dropping back. This might be good for us because he might create a gap. And then we can already run away with this top 7 of cars. Again, we're not necessarily looking to beat, you know, these top 3, top 4, but the Ferrari's ahead. That is really critical, I feel like. And Leclerc again. We look slightly faster than him at this stage of the race. So let's see. Sainz pushing past now with the ERS. Very nicely done. And Albon also getting past Ocon. So that is very nicely done. We're going to relax now with the deployment. We're in a perfect position. And that means we can also maybe think about conserving some fuel now. Verstappen in P5. Sonoda actually in the lead of the race now. But let's see here. Sainz thinking about a move on Verstappen. Isn't quite going to manage it, but Verstappen does have to go defensive. And now Leclerc tries to come through again and actually shoves Sainz wide, which is something we don't like to see. And I'll have to come back at him on the next straightaway, I think. So let's see now if we can get past Leclerc once again. Down the straightaway we go. Let's go aggressive.
We'll catch them.
And let's deploy now to try and get onto the back of George Russell again. We're gonna drop out of the deployment range. Ooh, and there is a collision somewhere. Ocon locking up, okay. And now we just focus on harvesting our battery, make sure that we don't run out throughout a lap. And then just try and hold on to these 3 cars ahead of us. Realistically fighting for that top 5. Behrman now dropping back. Behrman spins, yep. Piastri in the lead, Tsunoda still fighting. Verstappen now in front of this, well, in this train here, we have Lawson, Antonelli, Hamilton, Alonso, Stroll, Albon all in this train. So let's try and make something work here. Sainz still behind Leclerc. Coming down a straightaway here now. Sainz, can he pull off a move in the slipstream of Russell ahead? Moving to the outside now. No. Turns to the inside maybe. No. Nothing there. Antonelli now in 8th. But we're losing a bit of time here with Verstappen ahead, it seems. Or maybe he is just trying to push us ahead, really. As he's at the front of this train and we're just trying to keep up. But Antonelli now behind Sainz, which is less than ideal, I guess. Alright, so Sainz still on the back straight behind what is Leclerc, Antonelli, Leclerc, Russell, and Verstappen. And then Russell just now going for the overtake on Verstappen. And Antonelli now getting up right behind Sainz, which is something we don't want. Hamilton is in that mix as well. But maybe Antonelli latching onto the back of us can be positive because he can maybe get rid of Lawson and Hamilton behind. Antonelli now trying a move on Sainz, which let's hope he doesn't pull off. Gasly has now an issue in P14, so he's going to drop back.
The clipping is killing me.
Okay, so maybe engine problems for Gasly. I assume clipping is about his engine maybe not delivering full power. Two Maggots and Beckett's, we still hold on with Sainz. Let's try and see now, because Leclerc is at danger of losing Russell and Verstappen ahead. So I'm just going to deploy with Sainz down this straightaway. We should have DRS. Maybe Leclerc does not. And we might be able to move into P6. But no, Leclerc does pick up DRS in the end. So unfortunate for us. But we'll just have to bide our time with Sainz. And then Albon here.
Let's close this gap.
Okay, we're going to go super aggressive with Albon for just a second. Trying to close up back to Alonso. Because Lawson definitely making us lose a lot of time there. Okay, Leclerc still here. And he's really on that edge of the second behind Verstappen. So again, just going to deploy here. Try to get past in one fell swoop. We have DRS. Charles does not. We'll go aggressive for just a couple of corners here with Sainz. And then Sainz now onto the back of Verstappen and Russell, which is working out perfectly. And again, we're creating that gap to Hamilton. So might this be the first time that we outscore Hamilton on merit, on pace? It is definitely possible. The top three definitely got away from us, as we can see now. Tsunoda desperately trying to hold on. He's been doing really well for Red Bull. But Piastri still in the lead, Norris behind, and then Tsunoda desperately trying to cling on to that P3. But now it seems like he is going to lose DRS range here, and he might drop back into the clutches of Russell, Verstappen, and Sainz. Oh, and here we go. Sainz up into P5, and it's an all-out scrap for the top 5 here. With Verstappen now trying to get away. He's pushing hard. And let's see here. Sainz on Russell on the inside. So with the help of DRS and Verstappen ahead, getting past Russell, we move into P5. But now the question being, can we hold on and not let Verstappen get away, which actually we'll have to push here a little bit, I think. So let's harvest here a little bit if we can. If we don't get DRS, we want to deploy down the main straightaway, which we are gonna do.
Use the rest.
Try and not get Russell to go past again. And let's hope we can get some slipstream and slot in behind Verstappen again, which is exactly what we're gonna do. And we're coming close to our pit window now. We might consider pitting a little bit earlier, but there's nothing preventing us from just going until the pit window until now, unless one of our competitors really decides to go a lap earlier. And Max Verstappen really dragging us up here, doing all the hard work for us. Question now being, can we catch up to Tsunoda, who's still actually in that fight for the top 3. He's hanging on really well. And now George Russell is going to come past us, but we are close to our pit window, so let's see. One more lap after this one for Sainz, and we're just going to slot in behind Russell. And then try and get that undercut on Verstappen and Russell.
Don't worry, that's fine.
With our earlier pits. And then, oh, Norris with a mechanical issue, so in the lead right now, but
What's wrong with my pack?
maybe some deployment issues there for Norris as he's referring to the pack, but Sainz now coming through Maggots and Beckett's. And he's gonna come in this lap. We'll see what happens. Hamilton coming into pit now as well. Albon coming into pits. Okay, interesting. Let's see if the boys can do a good job. No mistakes, please. There we go. 2.4 seconds. Really nicely done. Maybe Hamilton held up a little bit when because of Albon pitting, so we'll see about that. Medium tires go on for Albon. 2.3 seconds. Okay. The boys are firing on all cylinders today. Okay, and Sainz coming out P11. Nice bit of clean track ahead of him. And he'll be able to fully utilize those medium tires. And let's hope he can get him up to temperature quite quickly. And then we can try and make this undercut work.
38.
And maybe slot in behind Verstappen again.
Currently P18.
If we're a bit lucky on that
Just in
front.
front of you.
Okay, Leclerc comes now into the pit, which is obviously someone we were battling with. So we'll see how this outlap has done for Carlos Sainz on that front. Alonso now in the pit as well. We're going to come across the line with Carlos Sainz here. Going to be very close with Leclerc, it seems like. Yeah, Leclerc coming out there now. Sainz will probably slot in nicely behind him, I suppose. We're going to try and use some deployment to actually catch up to the back of Leclerc as our tires are still warming up. There we go, onto the back of Leclerc, getting some nice slipstream.
Copy.
And that's what we're trying to do here, trying to latch onto the back of him and
Copy.
utilize that pace he has. He has moved to an older set of soft tires, so that is positive for us. I think a lot of those front runners will probably move to older soft tires. Yes, Hamilton as well. He's on about a single lap used soft. And let's hope now both Sainz and Leclerc can get ahead of Lawson.
It's way faster than us.
And then Leclerc has gotten past Lawson now, and now we're
Stroll.
getting screwed over a little bit here. As Lawson is making it harder than he should.
So Gasly has pitted.
Yep, so going into turn 1 again, we'll try to deploy and get a bit closer, but yeah, this isn't going to work out great now. So we were really trying to hold on to Leclerc. Meanwhile, you can see Leclerc already on 77% of his tires. Antonelli's still out. Verstappen now pitting, Norris pitting. But yeah, I think we're too far behind Verstappen now. He's been pushing really hard. Russell still has to pit. He was out on those mediums. Will be interesting to see now if we can come out ahead of Antonelli, which we should do, hopefully. Yeah, so Antonelli just starts moving now again, but we should comfortably clear him. which we do. But then, yeah, Verstappen has come out quite close with Leclerc. And that's really where we should have been if Lawson didn't get in the way. And we're just going to let Sainz run at his own pace for now. We'll see if there's any opportunities we can take advantage of. It does seem like Verstappen is quite slow at the moment. So we're gaining a little bit of time. Just going to harvest again. Albon now still about a second and a half in front of Stroll. But if Sainz doesn't manage to get anywhere close to Leclerc or Verstappen, we are just going to save his fuel. So we still have quite a bit of fuel saving to do here. 2.5 seconds behind Verstappen and Leclerc now. But yeah, it does look like we're not going to stay in touch with those guys. So here's where we try to save most of our fuel for the race. As Piastri, he's going to exit in P3 now. Russell still going on his medium tire, so he's, I assume, going until the end. I can't imagine it being the other way. And Piastri now creating that advantage on fresh soft tires. Alright, so we're just going to manage the race here a little bit and see if we can get Sainz to just hold on to the 7th position. And if there's any opportunity, we'll try to take advantage of that. But yeah, let's try to just save our most of our fuel in this stint. And then let's start worrying about the next stint in a little bit here. Alright, so Sainz got overtaken by Andrea Kimi Antonelli here. We're just saving some fuel, so we're not going to worry about it too much. Antonelli on some soft tires. So we're just going to stick behind him, save more of our fuel, and then towards the end of the race we should be able to push. And yeah, not have to worry about him too much. So for now, we're just going to use him as a bit of a tow and then save our fuel in the meanwhile. Hamilton still 8.5 seconds behind Sainz here, so we don't have to worry about him. And yeah, we're just going to run our race and try to make that strategy work. It's going to be harder and harder to catch up to Leclerc again, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, there was a crash here. Ollie Behrman here, this big train at the back of the field. Ollie Behrman getting in touch with Isaac Hadjar, I assume that is. But no big damage for anyone, so race continues, no safety car. Okay, now lap 27, we're here with Sainz behind Antonelli. Antonelli's been pushing really hard on those soft tires, which made us actually get within 12 seconds, within 3 seconds of Charles Leclerc in front. So I think this is where maybe our medium tires are going to come into play, and we consider actually pushing ahead of Antonelli, which is what we're going to try and do now. We've saved up a nice bit of deployment. And let's see if we can maybe, you know, extract some pace out of these medium tires compared to the softs now. And let's Sainz deploy here. Okay, so getting past Antonelli. Let's take a look at that overtake again. Visor cam. We go through Copse corner, round the outside, then into the last big braking zone of the circuit. And now we're just gonna use some of that battery we've saved up and try to close up to Leclerc in front. Okay, Sainz now in P5. Russell has just pitted for some fresh soft tires. Again, those will be quite worn towards the end of the race, so yeah, might have to pit once again, or he might go really conservative on those soft tires, but we'll see. And let's see here with the DRS, George is going to be quite a bit faster. So we'll see if we can hold on, which is going to be really tough. See how much faster Russell is now. Some of the leaders in front do have some issues, so see about those. Here comes Russell now past Sainz. Ooh, and what happened? What happened? Another issue somewhere. Okay, it's just Hadjar running wide. Nothing too crazy. As Albon is just saving his fuel still. Lewis Hamilton moves to some new medium tires. We'll see how fast he catches up to Albon. Maybe we'll try to hold him behind for a little bit. Here comes George Russell now, past Carlos Sainz. So let's see how well Sainz can actually hold on to Russell here. Might only take Russell one corner here to get away from us, as you can see how much extra pace he has. But no, we do stick in the slipstream, and that means we are going to get DRS off of George Russell, which is ideal. Okay, here we go. So Russell was definitely deploying down that straightaway. And now we are back in a slipstream. And that means we'll get another shot of DRS down this next straightaway here, which is ideal. Really long straight as well, so we might be able to close up to Russell again a bit more. Here we go, closing in, closing in. That's only gonna put us 6 or so tenths behind Russell once again. Someone locked up, Antonelli. Okay. So Antonelli behind Sainz. See here in our dirty air, maybe misjudging his braking a little bit, and oh yeah, just go straight on. So that's gonna be his tires near to the end. He surely has to come in now, I think. Yeah, 24%, so he's gonna lose a heap of time here in this last lap. Okay, so no contact for Norris, but he's coming into the pits now. He's gonna bolt on his last set of tires, I assume. And question will now be if Piastri can take advantage of Norris having that issue. Verstappen also running with a light issue. Stroll, Gasly into the pits now. So is Tsunoda and Norris. Norris now coming out again. He will come out in 3rd place, but I'm sure he's going to start losing quite a bit of time here with that issue he's carrying. So let's see now what Sainz. We come in for another set of mediums. Good pit stop, please. Yes, it is. 2.4 seconds once again. No mistakes, which is what we like to see. And then Sainz is going to come out in a nice bit of clean air behind Leclerc. But yeah, let's not worry about that too much for now. Leclerc is on some quite worn mediums already, so there's no guarantee that he runs these tires until the end. And if so, we'll have much better tires towards the end anyway. All right, about 15 laps to go here, and Lewis Hamilton actually just had a pop-up here. Hamilton is having some sort of issue with his car, so it's turning into quite a serious issue, and this might be good for us. If he drops outside of this top 10, we might be able to gain a little bit of points on him and eventually, you know, actually try and obtain our goal of beating Lewis Hamilton in this playthrough. Doohan seems to be pushing a little bit, but meanwhile Sainz just running his race. He can run these mediums until the end as well. Meanwhile Hamilton holding back Antonelli. And well, there we go. Antonelli now going past the 7-time world champion, or not. Hamilton comes right back at him. But in the meanwhile, this is good. Antonelli keeps losing time to Sainz here, so that is what we want to see. And meanwhile, like I said, those tires for Leclerc, they're really hurting him now. So we're gaining about a second a lap over Leclerc. So we're definitely not out of this fight with Leclerc. I think if he has to make a late pit stop, or if his tires continue to degrade like this, we have a really good chance at the end of actually overtaking that second Ferrari. All right, and now with Sainz here getting ever closer to Leclerc, 8.3 seconds now. Let's take a look at the last laps for both these drivers. Okay, 30.6 for Leclerc, so he's picked up the pace a little bit, and Sainz now a 30.3. So still gaining time, but not as much. Meanwhile, at the front now, Norris carrying that big issue on his car is still leading the race for now. He's on soft tires. Meanwhile, Piastri on fresh medium tires behind him. So I think once those get into the window, Piastri will probably take the lead of this race. Okay, a couple more laps to go here. We're going to start letting Sainz lean on his tires a little bit more. Try and close that gap to Leclerc in front. We're also going to manage his battery here. Albon is in a fight with Alonso, which he should be able to come out on top and finish in P9. We're going to start deploying here with Sainz. Every lap once on this straightaway here. Which should help with the push. As we're going to try and optimize this result where we can beat out Hamilton for once. So let's just try and stay on top of this and maybe challenge Leclerc for that P6. Sainz is trying, but it's not going to be enough, I'm afraid. Just falling a bit short of Leclerc this time around. One more lap or two more laps and we could have maybe gotten Charles Leclerc, but Sainz comes home in P7. Most importantly, 2 positions in front of Lewis Hamilton. Vamos, Carlos.
And among the drivers heading back to their teams, we see Carlos Sainz.
7th place at the end of that one, and some points for the team.
The man from down under, Oscar Piastri, heads up to our podium.
That sees them double their win tally for this season. They'll be delighted with that.
Well, we might be in Britain, but our podium finishers won't be celebrating with a cup of tea tonight. They'll be staying true to Formula One tradition. Now, Karun, no doubt there'll be a lot for the teams to process after that race. But how do you think the Williams team are feeling?
They didn't do too badly today. A pretty respectable outcome as far as they'll be concerned. But they need to keep pushing. They can't afford to sit back.
And here in Silverstone, the weekend now draws to a close.
Next time, the teams will be adding another year to the legend of Spa-Francorchamps. Anything can happen at the Belgian Grand Prix.
Alright, so that was it here at Silverstone. Oscar Piastri takes the victory, the 25 points. Max Verstappen gaining 3 positions over the race span in 2nd. Lando Norris in 3rd. Yuki Tsunoda in 4th, once again doing well. George Russell in 5th. Leclerc in 6th, which we, in the end, got about 1.2 seconds away from. Carlos Sainz in 7th, looking very promising this race, which is good for the rest of the season. Andrea Kimi Antonelli in 8th. Lewis Hamilton in 9th, most importantly, gaining some points on Lewis. Fernando Alonso, Alex Albon just outside of the points. Gabriel Bortoleto, Jack Doohan, Esteban Ocon, Nico Hulkenberg, Liam Lawson drops down 8 positions. Isaac Hadjar, Lance Stroll, and then Pierre Gasly. Taking a look at the driver standings, Max Verstappen still at the top with Lando Norris not too far behind. Then comes Oscar Piastri gaining some points on the 2 ahead of him. Then Lewis Hamilton only gaining 2 points this weekend. Charles Leclerc with 130 points just behind Lewis Hamilton. He's starting to pick up a bit of momentum, hopefully again, after his horrible first half of the season, really. George Russell in 6th, Carlos Sainz in 7th now, extending the lead once again over Andrea Kimi Antonelli. We kind of know inevitably that Yuki probably is going to overtake Sainz here at the next Grand Prix. But yeah, we're doing good. And again, the target is here, Lewis Hamilton. That's who we're going to try and catch over these next 12 races. Andrea Kimi Antonelli, once again, we extend the gap to him. Liam Lawson. Then comes Lance Stroll. Fernando Alonso scoring another point. Pierre Gasly, then Oliver Behrman, Gabriel Bortoleto, Alex Albon in 16th still. Shame he missed out on that single point, would have moved him up a spot. Nico Hulkenberg, then Esteban Ocon, Jack Doohan, and Isaac Hadjar. Taking a look at the constructors now, McLaren scoring 40 points, 387 points already, and we're only about halfway through the season. No, actually exactly halfway through the season. Red Bull picking up the pace now, Tsunoda coming in really well here into the team, and he's starting to pick up momentum. Had a rough couple first races with a lot of DNFs, but now is slowly turning the ship around, and Red Bull really getting a solid grip on that second position in the standings. Ferrari then 284 points, only 10 points scored this Grand Prix. Mercedes 182, gaining some points on Ferrari, but still quite far away. And then Williams gaining 6 points, again extending that gap to the bottom 5. But we really want to get closer to these two maybe, but realistically I think it's going to be hard to do this season. Alpine in 7th, Kick Sauber 8th, 9th, and then Racing Bulls still down there in P10. And there we go now. Driver performance obviously looking good. 15th for Alex Albon. We could have actually gone for the highest target, but I just wanted to see what the pace was for Alex today. And yeah, getting that nice 525k. On top of that, Sainz gets the 700k for finishing 9th or higher. So we'll get another 1.2 million in the bank. Nicely done. All right, guys, that was the British Grand Prix. Sainz doing pretty well here with that new chassis. And we have the Belgian Grand Prix coming up next. My home Grand Prix, of course. So I'm looking forward to that and see how we can do there. But yeah, Sainz looking really good out there. And if it's anything to go by, our second half of the season should be really strong. Anyway, if you've liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing, and then also hit the bell icon once you're subscribed to make sure you get notified of any videos I make. And like I mentioned before, in the future we should have some different content coming out as well. But with that all being said, I am Senne, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.